Reece James responded to fans' requests to join Arsenal. Chelsea defender Reece James gave a brutal response to a fan who asked him to join Arsenal. The supporters raised the possibility that Arsenal contracted James on social media, which was surprising. The 23-year-old player responded to him. Arsenal confirmed that they had contracted James's teammate in Chelsea, Kai Havertz, in an agreement of £65 million on Wednesday, but every Arsenal fan who hopes that James will follow the German to North London will be disappointed after he gave a blunt response to the suggestion on Twitter. "I said no," James said in responding to a tweeted fan, Reece James to Arsenal, who said no. Chelsea then responded to James's tweet by saying, "One of us," with a blue heart emoji. Leicester is interested in Casadei wonderkid Chelsea. Leicester is thinking about Cesare Casadei to strengthen their midfield for the coming season after being relegated to the Championship. Leicester has offered Chelsea loan agreements to former Inter players to give him more playing time. The player played in the Championship for the second part of the season with Reading. Hakim Ziyech was reported to have failed in his medical examination with the Saudi Al Nassr Pro League club. The Moroccan striker was considered a medical formality this Thursday, June 29, before it was officially announced as the latest big-name footballer who moved to the Middle East. The £17 million transfer depends on tonight's balance. The medical failure of the Chelsea star was also reported tonight by The Sun. Ziyech's previous move from Chelsea was a mess in the last minute. This seems to be just another example of Ziyech's bad luck. Last January, he almost moved to PSG in France when the agreement failed at the 11th hour due to administrative errors in his documents. Today's incident can really make the player eliminated at Stamford Bridge if nothing can be done to improve the situation. He is scheduled to join Al Nassr with Portuguese legend, Cristiano Ronaldo. Chelsea increased the pursuit of Moises Kiseado. Chelsea reportedly increased their pursuit of midfielder Brighton Hove Albion Moises Kiseado. The Ecuador international will leave Seagulls 6 months after Arsenal failed in their efforts to secure his signature. Brighton rejected 2 offers from Arsenal to Kiseado, who tried to force the move by expressing his desire to go through social media. A recent report claims that Chelsea is preparing an offer, while Man United is also believed to be preparing a formal approach. According to journalist Fabrizio Romano, the Blues are ready to increase their interest and attack the agreement for the 21-year-old player. Cases really want to complete the move to Stamford Bridge, opening the way for Chelsea to hold discussions with Brighton about the potential transfer. Manchester United, finally, reached an agreement on the signing of Mason Mount towards the end of his contract at Stamford Bridge in 12 months. The conversation, in turn, has long been carried out between each council in United and Chelsea. Last week, on the contrary, broad confirmation emerged that the conversation had failed between each party. However, as mentioned above, after returning to the table in a final attempt to land their main target of the midfield, on Thursday, Manchester United officials have succeeded in making a breakthrough. According to reports from transfer experts David Ornstein, Manchester United has reached an agreement with Chelsea to contract Mason Mount. The agreement, understood, was based on an initial cost of £55 million, with an additional £5 million which also could potentially be given to Chelsea. Mount, as a result, will immediately travel to Manchester to undergo a medical examination before signing a contract at Old Trafford. The Chelsea star revealed a disappointed response to the departure of Mason Mount. Trevoh Chalobah has come down to social media on Thursday night to express his disappointment with news of his movement Mason Mount to Manchester United. After weeks of negotiations back and forth between each council in United and Chelsea, compromise was reached with a number of £55 million, plus a bonus. The discharge of Mount was finally inaugurated. Of course, it would end the long-term partnership between the England international and Chelsea. In fact, for 6 years of his life, Mount has become a book in West London in several capacities or others, so it is safe to say that his departure is no doubt that it will have a big impact on many people at Stamford Bridge. And one of the members of the Blues game arrangement on Thursday night, indeed moved to confirm his disappointment through social media some time ago. Trevoh Chalobah, which is a product of the Cobham Academy, revealed a short and sweet reaction to the upcoming transfer Mount. "My son," his tweet, accompanied by 2 emojis, one face crying, and another heartbreak. Mauricio Pochettino's opinion about Mason Mount moved to Manchester United. Mason Mount headed to Manchester United with a transfer worth £60 million, but he left Chelsea in conflict with the wishes of manager Mauricio Pochettino. As Mirror Football reported in May, before the arrival of Pochettino was officially confirmed, Pochettino saw Mount as an important part of his Chelsea project. The ability of playmaking Mount, work ethic, and love for his childhood club made him suitable to be a new boss. He wants to build a young man, and 24-year-old player may have developed with people like Reece James, Ben Chilwell, Benoit Badiashile, and Levi Colwill on the team with a new look. Meanwhile, Mount wants to stay with Chelsea for most of the last season, but feels underestimated, given the £80,000 salary per week does not even place it in the top 20 recipients at the club. Mason Mount will not work with Mauricio Pochettino next season. He refused the offer of around £200,000 per week in November, and Chelsea never dared to surpass that number. Chelsea is associated with the move of Brazilian attackers, although Chelsea will sell some of their players in the transfer window this summer to cut their squad, but this does not stop them from looking for new players. The West London is said to be in further talks to contract Brazilian Angelos forwards from Santos. This was announced by Italian football transfer expert Fabrizio Romano on Wednesday, when he revealed that negotiations were taking place between Chelsea and Santos for the transfer of Angelo. Chelsea is said to have submitted an official offer to the Brazilian club for Angelo's signature, with an offer of £15 million in an effort to convince Santos to let the 18-year-old striker move to Stamford Bridge in the transfer window this summer. With German star Kai Havertz joined the Arsenal rival the Blues League, they were expected to bring in one or two attackers this summer as a replacement. Rio Ferdinand claims Chelsea's squad is less balanced after Kovacic and Kanté purge. With only the signing of Enzo Fernandez's record, Conor Gallagher and young player Carney Chukwuemeka and Andre Santos remaining as a recognized middle midfielder, the Blues now appear thin in midfield. Rio Ferdinand suggested that the Chelsea squad becomes unbalanced with their transfer agreement out. He said, "You see the Chelsea midfield, Jorginho left last season, Kanté and Kovacic left, Mount and Loftus-Cheek were on the way out. They have about 8 or 9 players attacking in the wing area, but the squad is less balanced. They need several midfielders. This will be interesting to see where they go, because they need someone with Enzo, which they spend £100 million. One of the players who consistently associated with the club is the Ecuador Brighton midfielder worth £80 million Moises Kiseado, who is likely to join Fernandez in midfield if the agreement is reached with Seagulls." Manchester United, Chelsea and Liverpool. Victor Osimhen's targets are only willing to join 2 clubs, according to former Napoli midfielder Salvatore Bagni. Manchester United's targets Chelsea and Liverpool. Victor Osimhen are only willing to join one of the 2 clubs this summer, he said. Victor Osimhen will not return to France because he has played there. He did not go to Liverpool or Chelsea because they didn't play in the Champions League. Of all the teams related to him, for me, he will only go to Manchester United and Real Madrid. He is not interested in other teams. While the Napoli insisted they planned to defend Osimhen this summer, but the club president had offered hope to clubs who hope to secure his signature. "We have talked to Osimhen before the Scudetto celebration, so we already have a basic agreement for the extension of the contract for 2 years, Aurelio De Laurentiis said at the beginning of the month. "I have said for a while that Osimhen must survive. Then, if there is an offer that comes and I cannot reject it for the good of Napoli, then we will consider it, because it's only natural." Mauricio Pochettino will be happy to contract Lautaro Martinez on Nicolas Jackson this summer window. Mauricio Pochettino knows that he has a club that needs to recruit a striker in this transfer window, someone who will be able to score regularly. The club has agreed to pay a request fee of £34 million for Jackson, and he has agreed to his personal requirements and passed his medical test, so he will come to the Premier League. Now, journalist Paul Brown has suggested that the club and Pochettino can move to other number 9 players such as Martinez after they landed Jackson. Speaking to Gimsport, the journalist said, "I think if Chelsea managed to make enough money from sales, they will try and recruit other strikers." With Christopher Mainkun came in, I thought many people thought he might be a striker, but I didn't really feel he was a striker, so it will be interesting because it will potentially become 3 new attackers and new appearances on the front lines of Chelsea if they are looking for other strikers after Jackson. But I think ideally Pochettino will be happy to have people who have proven like Lautaro entered. Edouard Mendy left Chelsea and joined the expert in Saudi Arabia. Senegal goalkeeper Edouard Mendy has left Chelsea to join the Saudi Arabian club Al Ahly. The two clubs announced on Wednesday Al Ahly, who will return to the top pro league next season. This is after 1 year in the second division. It is said that the Mendy contract will last until 2026. Without providing any financial details, the Saudi Pro League has become an interesting goal for European-based players. This was since Cristiano Ronaldo moved to Al Nassr last January.